Happy Thursday, December 19. Happy Thursday, December 19. The title for the quarter is the book of John. The title for this week, The Hour of Glory. The title for today, Thursday, Jesus and Mary. And the scripture for today, John 20:17. But before I read John 20:17, I have to tell you what makes me happy today. Well, I have an appointment tomorrow in Santa Monica. Another Mary. She wasn't even Peruvian. You know, when you come from Peru and you fly to O'Hare and you take South Bend and you end up at Andrews, you don't have a place to stay. But there was one person who gave me a roof. A free roof. I remember that day I came, I arrived. Her name was Maria. And if you're watching this, Maria, un abraço. Eu gosto muito de gente do Brasil. She's Brazilian. She speaks Portuguese. Thank you for the many things you did for me. I really appreciate it. And that's why I'm excited, because tomorrow I'll have the privilege of eating with her Peruvian food. She loves Peruvian food. She accepted my invitation because of Peruvian food. She's married to a Peruvian. Donald Chavez. And when she heard lomo saltado, she was, yes, lomo, lomo, lomo. Lomo saltado sin carne. Seco de cordero sin cordero, without lamb. Caldo de gallina sin gallina. I'm giving you the titles of the food without beef or lamb or chicken. But the flavor. Potato, papa la huancaína, potato, oh my goodness. Corn from Peru, unbelievable. Now, let's go to the scripture. Jesus said to her, do not cling. That's the key word. Do not cling to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father. Excuse me, don't you go to heaven when you die? Oh yes, that's what the evangelical churches teach. Don't you go to heaven when you die? Why is Jesus saying, I have not ascended to the Father? Where was he on Friday night? In the grave. Where was he Saturday morning? In the grave. Where was Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning? Midnight, 1 o'clock. In the grave. The word cemetery, my friend, is nothing more than the word dormitory. A place where you sleep. Ecclesiastes 9:5, the dead know nothing. They don't go to a better place. The people who die, they're not in purgatory, they're not in the limbo, they're not in hell, they're not in heaven. They are in the grave waiting for the trumpet. Anyway, let's continue reading. Do not cling to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father, but go to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God. The term for to cling here is haptu, which implies a close, clutching action. Later, Jesus will invite others to physically touch him. So his meaning here does not seem to be that Mary should not contact him at all. It more likely means that she's not to stay there or keep clinging to him, but that she's supposed to go and tell the disciples the resurrection news. That the first person given a message from the resurrected Christ is a woman, hello, would have gone against the era's prejudices about women. The message Jesus asked her to relate, in fact, will be waved off by the disciples as feminine hysteria. Jesus refers to the disciples as brothers. Why? Reinforcing the idea of salvation as a spiritual adoption by God, referring to the Father as both God and their God, also echoes the same idea. Christ also refers to his ascension, which will come as he leaves the apostles to grow the infant church. And death has been addressed many times throughout the Bible as simply sleeping in the grave, waiting for the resurrection. I finish with a story. Mary standing outside the grave crying, sobbing. As she cries, she gets down and looks inside the grave, and she sees two angels dressed in white clothes. They're sitting there where the body of Jesus had been laying. One angel was where his head was, and the other angel was where her feet were. And they say to her, "Woman, why are you crying?" "Because they have taken away my Lord. I do not know where they have put him." After saying this, she turns around and she sees Jesus standing there. But she doesn't recognize him. He says to her, "Woman, why are you crying? Who are you looking for?" She thinks it's the man who takes care of the garden. She says, "Sir, if you have taken Jesus from here, tell me where you have put him. I will take him away." Jesus says to her, "Mary." She turns around and says, "Rabboni, teacher." Jesus says to her, "Do not hold on to me. I have not yet gone up to my Father. But go to my brothers and tell them that I will go up to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene goes. Mary Magdalene tells all the disciples, all the followers, what she had seen from the Lord. She tells them the things he had said to her, because that morning was the glorious morning of the resurrection. May God bless you, and I will see you tomorrow.